Hearing me again?
In your case, it's all right to be narcissistic because you really deserve the accolades given to you.
I did not realize I was exhibiting some kind of narcissistic tendency. I was just passionate in answering the very searching questions from the panel, Mr. Justice.
The tremendous inherent power in the hands of a Chief Justice require that those appointed to the position should possess the highest degree of competence, integrity, and judicial prudence, because the administration of justice is a sacred task entrusted only to individuals with the highest degree of competence. Because a judicial post is a position of honor and is offered only to those who are best qualified. Do you consider yourself fit under this?
Well, if you want me to answer that question, I want to be narcissistic and I say I'm fit.
Go ahead.
But in addition to the qualifications, Mr. Justice, you add to that balance. Because if you are a justice, especially if you are a Chief Justice, there must be balance. And you also have some kind of people's skill. In addition to what you said. That is, in addition to the statutory constitutional requirement in the Constitution.
Now you were talking before about the bar, Philippine bar. There is a proposal to abolish the bar and instead the examination should be made to students every year, from first year, second year, third year, fourth year. In that case, after the first year, you will know whom to be eliminated or whom do not, those who are not qualified to become lawyers. Whereas under the present system, you know for a fact on the average about 20% only pass. So what happens to the 80%? They're jobless, they have nothing to do. Now, what do you say to that?
I have many things to say about that, Mr. Justice. First, I think what is more important is what happens to that person when he becomes a lawyer. When he becomes a lawyer after passing the bar. Okay. Now, I think that is the concern of the society because you may have a lawyer that will not protect your interests. But as far as the students are concerned, there are many reasons why a student takes up law. But as I said, there is a benefit to be derived from a person who finished law, but he is not frustrated because he did not pass the bar and he invents himself. He becomes a good asset in the society. I have seen many people who did not pass the bar, but they are presidents of their own corporations. So the time we have invested in their education has not been put to note. But going to the idea, that's a brilliant idea. As far as ensuring that that person, if he takes the bar, will pass the bar. But don't prevent him from finishing the course. Because even if he failed in the first year exams and he goes to second year, he could go back and take up the qualifying exams in the first year and second year. And in fact, I made that proposal before during our discussion because we were looking forward to that vision when there will be a barless entry to the practice of law. But we cannot do that as yet because our preoccupation with the bar examinations. But that is a very good idea, Your Honor, because there is a perpetual weaning out of those who may not be able to make it in the bar. But my suggestion is also giving them that chance, that fair trial, to be able to achieve their dream. Even if they are now in fourth year, if they failed first, second, third, and third year, they can go back to first year, finish, take the exams again, passes it, go to second year examination. He could do it in one sitting if he is already in fourth year, and if he gets all the qualifying, passes all the qualifying exams, then you are sure that perhaps he will have a better chance of passing the bar examinations.
The examinations will be given by the Supreme Court in the first year, second year, third year, and fourth year.
In our idea is at that level, perhaps the Legal Education Board will do it because this Supreme Court is saddled with judicial functions, extra non-judicial functions. So to spare the Supreme Court from all this problem,
maybe by the CHED or the Legal Education Board.
We have the Legal Education Board,
which is
yes, sir, Legal Education Board. But we want to, as President, I want to echo that again because it's really a concern which time has come.
Now, if you are appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, what would be your judicial philosophy?
Novus ordo seclorum. New order of the ages. And that captures the...
That's Latin. What is the English interpretation?
A new order of the ages. It's on the official seal of the United States. It's in their dollar. You will find it in the Yale School of Management. But it captures our yearning for a new order, a vision for a better Philippines. And it could start with the judiciary if this is the judicial philosophy of every member of the judiciary. Novus ordo seclorum.
Well, the integrated bar of the Philippines has a down-to-earth motto on that point, which is no master but law, no guide but conscience, no aim but justice.
High-sounding word, but it will only have meaning if it's followed in practice, Mr. Justice.
Precisely, but that's a judicial philosophy. So what is your concept of justice?
As far as the administration of justice is concerned, is a question of right and wrong. Always the high moral ground. The decisions must always pass the tests of, does it pass the test, the moral test? Is it what is good? So it's always a choice. You know, a judge is always confronted with moral choice when he makes a decision. The same way that a driver of a car who is running and there's a stoplight, but he has to catch up with disappointment in the Supreme Court because he will be interviewed by the Judicial and Bar Council. Will he beat the light or not? That's a moral choice. And you put that to the situation of a justice. Do you have to order the TRO or not? That is not just a legal question, but there is a moral question that has something to do with accountability, responsibility,
Yes, but
the
you-
public desire for accountability. You know, these things are moral choices, Mr. Justice.
Yes, but you decide your cases on the basis of law.
Law is always the reflection of morality.
If your conscience does not abide by the law, will you follow the law?
The law is the nation's conscience. You are part of the nation, and you have to abide superior. You have
If
to
the law does
follow a superior authority.
If the law does not coincide with your concept of justice, will you follow the law in your decisions?
This is now a question of policy. That's why does a judge be an activist judge, or he is a judge who follows judicial restraint? These are the choices that you make, but you cannot be a activist on one hand and then restraint on the other. That's why I propose you follow the golden mean. You have to follow what is good. There are cases which involves economic development. Will this case propel the country? In my decision, will this be critical in the economic development of this country? You know, you cannot have a pigeonhole and say you do this, you do that, you do this is law is not logic, Mr. Justice. Law is experience. It's the felt necessities of time that will be make that is the life of the law.
I'd like to discuss with you, but we have time constraints. So
I enjoy doing this, Mr. Justice.
We can do that in some other time.
It's,
Maybe over coffee.
Yeah, you know. You throw me in the water if you discuss with me about these things, because I always reflect on these things, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Justice.
Congressman Tupas.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Dean.
It's an honor to be interviewed by you.
Actually, I was just listening. I was monitoring and listening. And the questions that I would like to ask were already asked. And I'm quite satisfied with your answer. So I will not ask any more questions, and I would like to wish you good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
I had some kind of shock there, because I think you mentioned that also to others, and then you came up with these strong questions. I'm sorry.
So, Secretary Mosngit, please.
Magandang umaga po, Dean Valdez.
Magandang umaga ho. Nagkita ulit tayo, Undersecretary.
You know, my wife is an avid listener of your program on radio, and I think you're a very prominent fixture in media. Would
Thank you.
care to forecast your role if ever you'd be chosen as a Chief Justice? Would you continue on with your advocacy in public?
No, I don't think that will be proper. I think there will be some conflict of interest involved, because my advocacy involves sometimes sharing my opinion, and that should not be the opinion of the court. You are now a walking representative of the entire judiciary if you are appointed, not even a Chief Justice, even a justice or a judge for that matter, because I know that you express your opinion through decisions. Although Chief Justice Marshall, in the Marbury case, he was the subject of many criticisms. You know what they did? He also expressed his opinion publicly, but he used a pseudonym. He made an article that was a very effective article. I think he used a name which hid his identity. And that is how he responded to the criticism of the criticism made by the public on the court.
Dean Valdez, you've been Dean of the University of the East College of Law. How would you characterize or distinguish a UE lawyer in the present times?
Oh, well, a lawyer is a lawyer who is steeped in ethics. That is because that's how we develop our lawyers. To us, the College of Law is a finishing school, not just a law school. It's a finishing school. Even the way you conduct yourself, you have to be acting like a lawyer. In fact, the reason why I'm comfortable with the ethical standard of our lawyers, Your Honor, is that when one of our graduates was involved in an election controversy, and he donated a room with his name there as a recognition that he was the donor of that room, and then he was involved in this controversy. The following day, when I went to the office, the nameplate of that alumnus is already removed from the room. And there was no instruction from me. I did not want to do that because that is his expense. But the students, on their own, did that. That's how I think the value formation, which our college is trying to develop in our students, as well as hopefully when they are graduates. Although after that, we don't have any much control. But to control it indirectly, we came up with an award which said the Dean of the College of Law Honor Roll. That means that you conduct yourself as a lawyer with honor, and then next year you will be one of the 10 awardees of the Dean of the College of Law Honor Roll. That's how we try to reach out to our alumni.
Salamat po, Dean. If I may ask you, nanonood po ba kayo ng mga previous interviews na naka-broadcast over television? Have you been monitoring the proceedings of the Judicial and Bar Council?
On the first day, partly in the morning, but when the questions were asked and the way my thought process was affected by their answers, I said, please don't ask me to watch it anymore because I may not be original anymore when I answer the questions. I don't want to prepare. I want to be original because I want that my answer will come from the heart. That's why I am a little passionate because it comes from the heart, Your Honor.
I wanted to ask you, this really is just to elicit your response. What do you think about the proceedings? How is it being conducted? Do you think it's adequate? Do you think it's orderly in the selection process for the highest position of Chief Justice?
I think I have to doff my hat to the presiding officer and the way the questions were propounded now. I am very happy, as if you are my friends. But in the process, you make me respect you more. This is the feeling that I got during the short time that I am here with member Cayosa. I met her during the National Convention last time, remember, at Subic.
Dean Valdez, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I really wanted to find out if a national televised proceeding for the selection of a Chief Justice is appropriate in your opinion.
We should not overdo it. Perhaps whoever will be appointed as Chief Justice will be a Chief Justice for a while, and this spectacle may not be reiterated anymore. Suffice it to say that the public has a window to see how you do it. I think next time around, I don't mind these things, but next time around, perhaps it might reach to the point that the public there will trivialize what we are doing. But to the point that we are doing now, I think I am very satisfied. But to make it as a practice, I have some reservations about this, Mr. Secretary.
As a last follow-up to that, do you think it's an adequate measure or a way to gauge the competence, integrity, probity, and independence of each candidate for the position of Chief Justice, the proceedings that is being conducted right now?
I don't think they should be debating on a rhetorical contest. I think it should be more. I think this should just be an opportunity for you to read in between, so that you can be able to have an informed decision. But there must be a totality of your evaluation. I believe that you will have some information about us. And in the last analysis, it's really your conscience deciding on the choice that you will make, Mr. Undersecretary. Mr. Vice Chairman. I think you're the Vice Chairman.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm Pro Acvitse here. I'm Saling Pusa. Just moving on, sir. I was very intently listening to your views on the court fees. Just a very quick point. I am certain that you know the difference between an administrative charge or a fee as against a tax. The fee being imposed by the court is for its administrative expense, just to run the regular business of court administration. And the Chief Justice, all we know, is the CEO, really the big boss in court administration. How do you then weigh this in your view that the fees are the fee system is needs to be revisited?
There are many values involved. I think the most important value that is being affected by the high fees, access to justice. And between access to justice and the requirement in the administration, the management of the court, I think we have to give more premium to that value of access to justice, because that is the essence of our democratic system. Fair opportunity, the opportunity to seek redress for their grievances.
I have two more questions, if I may. I was listening to you earlier when you were talking about your grandchildren. I know a sense of fondness that you have of them. And my take is that this is because you see in them the future, and I'm sure you're very interested in legacy. In that sense, as a lawyer and whether or not chosen as the Chief Justice, what do you think, what is your aspiration to be, your legacy in this country?
The sense of posterity, you mean? I think, and I hope to make the difference in the administration of justice. That's why the motto, "A New Order of the Ages," is very important to me, because the different prescriptions that I submitted may be developing the new order of the ages. Perhaps it may help in the liberation of the people from poverty. We just hope that if we think outside the box, come up with some ideas, and perhaps for the first 20 years our focus would be economic development, and the judicial department will be helping in that idea of economic development through the rule of law. Because my the vision in the triangle approach that I said is economic development and human enhancement through the rule of law. Then I could have made the difference.
My last question is, the Constitution right now provides that bars foreigners from practicing law in the Philippines unless provided for by law. Do you think that it is now time to allow foreigners to practice law in this country by legislation?
Well, as a dean of a law school, my inclination is not to allow foreigners to practice law. But as we expand our horizon and as we expand the economic umbrella that we have, perhaps on a reciprocity basis, we can do that. But you should be reciprocal with another country on equal basis. If you try to be reciprocal with a big country with all the resources that we have, in reality, that is not reciprocity. It will just be on paper. So I want a reciprocity that is not just based on paper, but on the reality on the ground.
On that note, Mr. Chairman, I'm sure you have plenty questions to ask. I give it to the Chair. Maraming salamat po, Dean, and good luck po.
Thank you.
Alamatan ni Dean Valdez, ako nang susunod magtanong eh. Kaya binigyan ako ng magandang compliment. Thank you.
Salamat po.
Ito ang tanong ko, Dean Valdez eh. Is humility a quality?
It is
Chief
equality.
Justice?
It is equality. Is important. Humility is important. But modesty could be more appropriate because sometimes if you overdo the humility, it may show weakness.
But humility is part of judicial temperament. And I think judicial temperament is one of the important qualities, aside from the qualifications provided for under the Constitution. Do you agree with me?
That's true, but you
Abading?
must be able to assert yourself also. If you are a leader of the court, you must be able to assert yourself without being disrespectful to your colleagues.
Yeah. So we agree on that. That
Yes, Your
the
Honor.
humility is part of judicial temperament, and judicial temperament is a quality, one of the important qualities of a jurist, not only a Chief Justice. Okay. Now, did I hear you right that you want the collection of fees declared as unconstitutional?
I was just musing about it because it denied access to the court. Perhaps it has to be revisited, and perhaps the Supreme Court has to do it upon itself to review this and make it more consistent with the aspiration of our people to justice.
Hindi mo po ba alam din, Amading, ano po yung fees na yan sa Rule 141, yun na nagpupundo ng Judiciary Development Fund. Ang Judiciary Development Fund, provided for po ng batas yan eh. So, kung walang fees yan, saan anong pagpa-fund namin sa Judiciary Development Fund?
I think that was the trust of...
Pangalawa, part of the fees that we collect, pupunta rin sa 9227 yung Republic Act 9227 Yun ang tinatawag na SADS. Ngayon, yung Judiciary Development Fund, for your information, part of that goes to the employees. Yung lowest ranking na empleyado ng Korte Suprema, mas malaki ang tatanggapin kaysa sa justice ng Korte Suprema. Reverse. Pag mababang sweldo mo, mas malaki. Kaya kami sa Supreme Court, mababa lang yung allowance namin na nanggagaling sa JDF eh. Yung SADS naman, ito po ginawa ng ng Congress at Senado eh. Unanimous yan. Yung sa 9227 para mapagbigyan ng mga huwes at saka mga justices ng additional income noong 2007 nag-create sila ng special allowance for judges and justices. Iyon po, hindi po yung nagpupundo doon, hindi po nanggagaling sa budget. Nanggagaling po sa fees. At yan po, kung may sobra doon sa SADS ng mga judges at saka justices, yung hindi directly benefited, yung indirectly benefited, ibinibigay po namin sa mga empleyado yan eh. Yun po binibigay namin sa empleyado. Kami ay natutuwa dahil ng balita namin yung budget ng Korte Suprema naging 1.8% na eh. But nung ginawa nung SADS nung 2007, naku po, ang budget namin less than 1% eh. Kaya nagpapasalamat sa sa Congress. We are hoping na hindi na nila babawasan eh. Gusto ka namin sana eh, nandito katabi ko si Congressman Tupas, nalalaman na niya kung anong trabaho sa Korte Suprema, baka dudublehin na eh. Ganon po yun eh. Okay. Now, you were also talking about...
Now, can I address that issue first, Mr. Chairman? Because I did not advocate the abolition. I just said that perhaps we have to review it and perhaps to make it reasonable. At saka sinasabi ko po, yung ID na pinupropose ko, it might generate funds.
Para hindi masyadong hahaba, no? Linilipit ko lang yung questions ko muna doon. We will take another topic and then you just listen from me. Then you send the question as they are questions as they are propounded. Para, kasi meron pang isa. Yung susunod baka mas mahaba. So, pagbigyan naman natin yung isa, po. Tsaka, kinakailan din namin ng break eh. Okay. What I would like also to ask from you is, medyo, nagulat ako nung sinabi mo na the issuance of a TRO should be based on moral ground eh. You want to amend Rule 65? Alam mo itong Rule 65 eh, sa tingin ko hindi pa tayo abogado eh. Nandyan na sa Rule 65 eh. Ngayon ko lang nalaman sa inyo, ay dapat dagdagan ng moral ground ang issuance ng TRO eh. Ngayon ko lang nalaman yan eh.
Hindi ko naman sinabing
moral choice eh.
Kasama yung moral ground, Mr. Chairman.
Ano ba? Mali ang pagkarinig ko kasi mali ang pagkarinig ko.
Mr. Chairman,
okay, go ahead.
Ang sinabi ko, a judge or justice has to make a moral choice. Now, the way I understand it, pag ibinigay mo yung TRO, yun na yun eh. Hindi naman actually TRO yun. Alis na yun eh. Hindi naman talaga. I'll just because I made that in reference to that, Mr. Chair. Let me finish it because I don't want the public to misconstrue me, please. Because I don't want that the language of the TRO be corrupted. If you say TRO lang yan. Pero kung nakaalis na yung tao, hindi na TRO yan.
Referring to a specific case,
I was referring to that specific case, Mr. Chairman.
So,
I'll be honest with you.
So, if that is the case, then magiging discretion na ngayon ng husgado, ito, moral choice ko ito eh. Kaya dapat hindi ko i-issue eh. Ganun nangyayari yan. Kasi I'm not referring to a specific case eh. Here comes an applicant for a TRO. Gigibay na yung bahay niyan. Sasabihin niya, wala na kaming titirahan. Yung mga naghihirap ng mga kababayan natin, tinatanggal na ng NHA, lahat-lahat. Sabihin na natin, hindi sa kanila yung lupa. Pupunta sila sa husgado ngayon, mag-a-apply ng TRO. Just tanungin ng judge, ano at ang moral choice ko? Ganun ba yun?
That's why you have to use reason. The moral ingredient must be coupled with reason. And you have to weigh it. Kaya sabi ko kanina, you have to balance things. Hindi mo pwede yung sunugin, wag sunugin. That is not what I was saying. You have to look into the totality of what I said, Mr. Chairman.
So there's no need to amend Rule 65?
No, there's no need to amend that.
Di agreeable tayo dyan.
Wala ho tayong pinag-aawayan dyan. But you are just injecting something which I did not say.
But I will ask you again, moral choice is not an element.
No, I'm sure.
So tama na.
Yeah.
Basta clear tayo dyan.
Hindi ho.
Kasi mabigat yung moral choice eh. Kawawa naman ang mga judges eh. Kung ang choice na, kasi
what I said is that a judge or a justice may always exercise such kind of moral choice. But there must be reason to it. Hindi pwede yung moral choice, nararamdaman mo, mahal ko ito, nararamdaman ko itong
hindi ganun ang huwes, hindi ho nararamdaman eh. I will interrupt you on that.
Hindi ko naman sinasabing ganun. Sinasabi ko, you should have some reason.
You know, I'm the chair. You have to listen. No? Meron kaming rules. When the chair is talking, do not disturb him. Please lang.
Yeah, but please do
No, I allow you to answer
yeah,
already.
but please do not put something in my statement.
No, I'm just following what your answers are.
Yeah.
Yun lang Kasi mabigat yung sinasabi mo tungkol sa TRO Biro, may harapan ng judges dyan. So anyway, I'll go to another topic. Yung creation ng Constitutional Court, you agree on that? The Supreme Court cannot do anything. That's legislation.
Yes, it's perhaps through a constitutional amendment.
Yung establishment of integrity councils, hindi ba?
It's judicial region.
Are you aware that we have already a resolution approved by the NBank?
Well, that's good.
It's already being printed.
Is it implemented already, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, it's already being printed.
That's good.
It's already for distribution, for your information. Yung merit ranking of MTC, RTC judges, mabigat itong hinihingi mo Bibigyan mo ng rank ng justice ng Court of Appeals. Alam mo kung bibigyan mo ng rank ang MTC, RTC judges, they will ask for benefits equivalent to the benefits being received by the Court of Appeals.
That's why it's an idea that you have to be fleshing out. These are all proposals which will need to be fine-tuned.
That's why.
So when you say this and you read it, don't judge it because you have to make a counter-proposal. What's your counter-proposal to this?
No, that's why I'm asking you, because if you become the Chief Justice, at least malalaman kung ano itong proposal mo, Okay? Special priority to drug cases, other heinous crimes,
That
and
is
crime
being
involved.
done now, actually.
What? We have been done. Okay. Alam mo ba kung you put this special priority to drug cases at saka other heinous crimes, probably because you are thinking of a delay. Hindi ho ba?
Ganito ho yun. Kung bakit ganyan, alam nyo yung mga witnesses dito, drugs cases, these are undercover agents. So, pag binistahan na yan, makikilala na yan sa community. But if it will take 1 year or 2 years bago, that guy will be ineffective. Kaya ang ginagawa ko dapat, the ideal situation tapusin mo na ang testimony niya, and then iyasay mo na sa malayong lugar para no one knows about him and he will be effective there. Kukunti lang ho ang police natin that are specialists on these things. And this is the reason why there should be special priority to drugs cases.
Oh, I thought you want this also because you want to improve the docket of the courts.
This proposal is not a proposal in a vacuum. There is experiential dimension.
So you want a better conviction rate?
It's not really conviction, but tapusin mo. Yung hearing, para you can be able to you dispose of the case and you are able to utilize the resources of the government on other things. Kaya sabi ko nga, undercover agent, lumabas na yan. Magagamit mo ba dito sa Metro Manila? Papatayin na ho yan.
Okay. Ako naman, wala kaming, ang husgado, walang control sa witnesses may control ng witnesses sa prosecution yan at saka mga pulis Kaya tinatanong ko sa iyo, kung ito special priority drug cases, within our means, ano mang kinakailangan natin gawin dito? So I was asking you, i-expedite ba natin? Tinatanong mo, mga witnesses, wala pa kaming control doon Sa ano yan mga pulis yan, saka mga piskal yan
Ano, Mr. Chairman, behind this proposal would be the work of the judge. How will you be able to supervise your court? How will you able to make the witnesses available? It's in the management ability of the presiding judge to marshal these resources. Siya ho nagdidikta niyan He has control.
Alam mo, pag yan ang ginawa mo, pagsususpetsaan ka. Kung ang judge maghahanap ng witnesses, siya ang bahala sa witnesses. Pagsususpetsyan ka ng kabila.
Tingnan nyo.
Ang witnesses, problema ng prosecution yan
But how do you do it na hindi ka pagsususpetsahan?
The prosecution will ask for a warrant of arrest. That's all the judge can do. Nandyan sa rules natin yan
Well, you have to be you have to be creative in order that you address the principle of openness, yung principle of accountability, yung principle of efficiency. Ando doon ho sa management
Nako.
ng court yan eh.
Pag yan ang ginawa mo, walang mag-apply na judge. So anyway, I'll go to another one.
I'm sure there will be many.
Crimes involved. Alam mo, nanggaling ako sa judge eh. You were also appearing before me. Many times you observed me.
Yes.
I know, he's a good friend of mine.
Yes, sir.
Inobserve mo ako eh.
You were one
Sa
of the
tingin ko, you
best,
can confirm that probably I was one of the fastest judges when I was in Quezon City.
No, this is just anyway discussion.
Yeah, discussion lang yan eh.
But our friendship is...
but you can confirm.
the line.
Yes, but you can confirm that
Yes.
you were when we were you were
And
in
you're
the-
one of the best trial judges.
I know you observed me when I heard that when I was the one who heard the case of that famous policeman who shot a young boy. Yeah, that fellow. I know you
Yeah.
monitored me. All the lawyers of IBP monitored me, no. Kaya magkaibigan tayo eh.
Kayo ni Justice Bersamin.
Oo, kapatid Justice Bersamin, tama yan, no? Hindi kasi, clarify ko lang ito, because these are the proposals of Dean Amading. Yung maximizing and institutionalizing funding of mediation system, arbitration,
Ginagawa na ho yan.
ginagawa na yan. Okay, ginagawa na yan. Ito ang problema ko eh. Amendment of the rules on pleas, allowing no contest pleas in certain cases and imposing community service as penalties, particularly to youthful offenders eh. Ito, di ko masyadong maintindihan
Kailangan
din eh.
siguro ng legislation dyan, Mr. Chairman.
No, but di maganda itong suggestion yun eh. Allowing no contest pleas in certain cases eh. Hindi ko po masyadong maintindihan because ang experience namin, in our experience, that's why one of the reasons why we have a heavy load of drug cases, ito sa plea bargaining eh. That's why I was asking you kung anong problema sa drug case. I thought you want the law to be amended eh. Kasi, alam mo, din Amading nakikinig si nakikinig si Congressman Tupas, no? One day probably ito proposal ko lang naman yung mga members ng court, members ng judiciary, imbitahan naman kami minsan sa public hearing kung pwede lang para we can share our observations. Kasi itong drug cases ang delay sometimes nasa batas Hindi sa pulis, hindi sa husgado nasa batas Bakit kamo? Walang plea bargaining. In-incorporate natin sa rules of court ang plea bargaining para mabilis. Mabilis ang takbo ng kaso. Inalis po yan sa plea bargaining sa drug cases. Pangalawa, dahil at pinagsususpetsaan ng fiscal, police, judge, ang ginawa nila, in-incorporate nila yung Section 21. I do not know kung alam niyo. Alam mo marahil yun, yung Section 21, 1965. RA 9165. Meron yung mga chain of custody doon, kamera-kamera, ang daming requirements So, nagko-complain yung mga police. They cannot comply, acquit. Hindi ho ba? Ganon din tayo sa Korte Suprema Pangatlo, yung dating law sa Republic Act 6425, ang penalty nun based on quantity Based on quantity. Sa madaling salita, example lang yung shabu nun pag 200 grams, I think, reclusion perpetua to death. Pag mababa sa 200 grams, graduated ang penalty, depende sa quantity.
Dinadagdagan pa nila.
Ang gagawin kasi, ginagawa siya ng mga pulis noon, daw, yung nakakarito. Binabawasan. Tapos yung kinuha, i-recycle. Hindi ho ba?
Yeah.
Pinalitan yan Pinalitan ng batas Pag sale yan, regardless of the quantity, life imprisonment na yan. Hindi ba? Tapos tanggalin mo pa yung plea bargaining, lahat ng kaso nandun. Hindi ho ba? Kaya that's why I wanted to ask you kung anong problema sa drugs. I thought that ito isasagot mo Kaya lang ini-interrupt mo ako, din Amading Kasi I wanted to say that, kasi nandito si Congressman Tupas. Even if you go to the courts, namamasyal ka sa korte tanungin mo sa husgado lahat kung anong cause ng delay at saka anong mga cases na pending na matagal dyan. Drug cases Hindi ba?
Pasensya ka na, Mr. Justice.
Oo,
Akala ko nag-uusap
tapos
lang
sa'yo.
tayo as usual eh.
Kaya akala ko, para sa iniisip natin, iba pala eh. So anyway, insofar as crimes involving tourists, merong batas dyan eh. Nang sinasabi, whether a tourist is a witness or an accused, mateterminate ang trial within 72 hours yan. Ako, hindi ako nagyayabang, kasi meron akong quality of humility eh. Kaya lang, hindi ito, nasa ano yan, kayo mga law students, alam niyo yan, yung People versus Marty. Basahin niyo yan. Ha?
Illegal search.
Illegal search. 72 hours, tinapos ng husgado eh. Tinapos ni Justice Callejo eh. I was only an assisting fiscal, meron ibang fiscal doon. 72 hours because we follow the law eh. Meron batas yan eh. Hindi ho ba?
Kaya
meron.
dapat yun ang good example ng disposition of cases.
Yan, yung mandatory legal aid service, I think it's incorporated doon sa MCLE program eh.
O nga, pero
yun.
ang proposal ko during our IBP forum is, kung maaari, yung mandatoriness, yung gustong magkaroon ng career sa judiciary, sa prosecution, sapagkat ang naisip ko, this is based on personal experience in my stint as legal aid director noon, and even before that as legal aid committee director sa isang chapter. Nakita ko yung humanizing effect sa akin nung nakikita ko yung mga farmers na inaalis do sa kanilang sinasaka.
Tama ka.
And since then, I became an advocate to nagre-run.
I think we agree on that eh. Dapat may legal aid service, no? Okay. Yung professionalization at computerization of court management, meron ng tumatakbo dyan. Effective nga sa Court of Appeals eh. Meron konting problema sa RTC, sa mga trial courts eh. Kasi iba ang procedure in the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court because walang trial work eh sa Court of Appeals eh. So it's easy to monitor. You file the case, follow some pleadings, tapos na eh.
Kaya
Sa trial court eh, file ka ng case, arraignment, pre-trial, trial, and so on eh. Marami eh. Hindi ho ba? So, but anyway, it is a...
I-clarify ko lang ho. Kaya sinisingit ko ito, maski meron na tayo, because of the ID system proposal. Because the ID system will not be effective without computerization.
Okay. Yung allowing internet pleadings, ginagawa na ho namin yan sa Korte Suprema. We receive pleadings through the internet. Ang problema lang sa initiatory pleading, mahirap yun eh. Kasi binabase yung fees sa initial pleading eh. Kung i-allow mag internet pleading to, paano masisingil yung fees eh? Kawawa naman mga empleyado namin, wala silang JDF, mga judges, walang SADS eh. So anyway, probably...
Pwede na ho magbayad ngayon sa internet eh.
Yeah. Tingnan natin din. Recording technology, we are doing that eh. Kailang problema, budgetary constraints eh. Pag ginawa mo lahat ng husgado yan, entero Pilipinas, naku po. Nandito si Congressman Topas, susuportan kami. Walang problema yan eh.
Ang suggestion ko, Mr. Chairman, pilot natin sa Iloilo.
Wow, hindi, meron na kaming pilot. At saka din, sasabi ko sa iyo, sa reform program ng Supreme Court, probably, pagkakataon na rin ito, yung amendment sa rules, pag tinitingnan nyo, marami na kaming ginawa sa rules para ma-expedite. Marami na. And we are trying to adapt rules from other rules para i-hybrid namin Let's say yung rule and summary procedure. Hinhybrid namin sa rule for procedure for environmental law. Yung intellectual property rules, hinhybrid namin with rule and summary procedure. Inadapt na namin yung judicial affidavits. And then we adopted some principles doon sa Amerika. Tulong sa mga tao sa gobyerno. I'll give you an example. I do not have read yung mga practitioners sa Amerika, alam nila si Attorney Matters, I think meron tayo isang lawyer from, I think, practicing in America. Yeah. Meron kaming, alam mo sa environmental law. Kaya visionary ang Supreme Court Meron kaming slap suit ngayon. Slap suit under the rules of... Alam mo slap suit? Ang ibig sabihin nun strategic lawsuit against public participation. Pag ang pag ang forestry officer, ha? Or mga nag-implement ng environmental law, bebeltaan ng mamalaking kumpanya, file cases, file sa ombudsman, file ng damages. Yung officer can put up that defense that is a slap suit. And what the beauty of this is, you can just establish substantial evidence. Dismiss na yung kaso sa kanya. Sa tingin ko, pwede natin i-apply sa ibang government officials yan. Hindi ba? Para matakot ng magpapel ng mga cases to vex or to harass yung mga government officials natin. Isa pa, ito rin, I do not know, you know also, para malaman nyo kung anong ginagawa ng Korte Suprema, ano po. Alam mo yung photographs din, Amading, hindi ba? Yung photographs ba, can it be admitted as independent evidence to prove what is depicted in the picture?
Well, I think depends on the purpose. But if to prove what is depicted there, baka mayroong kailangan...
No, independent. In other words, what is depicted there can be an independent evidence for the conviction, of an accused. Nalaw namin dyan sa rule for procedure. Kasi ang problema dyan, yung mga catalogs, paano nila dadalhin sa husgado? Yung mga isda, hinuli ng illegal fishing. Pagdating ng trial, wala na yung isda. Kinain na. Ay, hindi na preserve. Ang sinabi namin, photograph na lang. And then somebody will testify on the authenticity. The one who took the picture, present. Pwede nang i-admit yun. Hindi mo na kinakailan dalhin ng drugs. Sa tingin ko, pwede natin gawin sa drugs law yan. Ang problema, it needs a legislative act sa drugs court. Kaya nandito. So in other words, ang husgado naman natin marahil ginagawa lahat ng paraan to help our people din. Okay? Nakaintindihan tayo dyan, tama ba?
But I always believe your stint has been a model for other judges, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you very much. Ni-remind ka lang ata, medyo nagdebate tayo ng konti. On that note, Dean, I'm true. Ha?
Maraming salamat po if I offended some sensibilities. Pasensya na ako kayo
Hindi.
it's just part of...
that's part. Ganon din kami sa Korte Suprema, nagdedebate din kami ganyan-ganyan. After the session, we take our lunch together as if nothing happened. Para sa bayan. Wala tayong para sa bayan, walang personalan. Otherwise, walang mangyayari sa bayan. Salamat po.
I am honored to appear before the council. Thank you very much.
Thank you din.
Para sa bayan, walang personal.